Grab your fork and grab your knife. Morning, afternoon, and night. Mama's recipe and mine. We're about to have a good time. Hey sis, eat this. Hey sis, eat this. Woohoo! Yeah.
Hey sis.
Hey sis.
I've missed you.
I know, me too. You've been off traveling again.
I just got back from Mexico last night.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, but you know what that means for me when I get back from Mexico.
Montezuma?
I mean, it's just, my tummy hurts so bad right now. I feel like there's daggers in my stomach and my body's very angry with me. But this always happens. It's par for the course. And I broke my nose last night.
What?
I legit, well, Daisy broke my nose, my dog.
What?
Yeah, I swear I broke it. I know it's like you can't really see it via Zoom, but as soon as I walked in the door, I was so excited to see her, and I bent down to kiss her, and, you know, she's 73 pounds, and she whipped her head up really hard and just boom, and I felt my septum crack. I heard it. And I was like, oh my God, that blinding pain, you know, you're like,
Yeah.
And so I iced it, and I've been taking Advil, and it hurts so bad. And you don't really see it from the outside. I don't think it's like, but I
can't see anything.
I totally cracked my septum again, and I've already had that fixed once. So if any listeners know of any good nose surgeons, I'm going to need a nose job.
Okay. Were you gushing blood?
No, I wasn't. It was just like crack, ouch. And I was running. I just got ice on it immediately, and I didn't bleed. And I don't have black. I mean, I do have black dark circles under my eyes, but those are just the usual ones that are always there, not the ones that, you know, you
would
get
be
from
caused by
broken
that.
nose. Yeah, but I swear I did something because it hurts like a mother. And these glasses on my face right now, it's like adding pressure. It's not fun.
Oh, sister, I'm so sorry. You better get that
I know.
fixed up before we go to Vegas. I need you in top performance.
I know I'm going to need to make a trip to Dr. Rafi this week. I don't know what he can do, but I don't know.
Well, I guess if you get an x-ray or something.
It's a nasal conundrum.
Oh, God. That's awful. I'm so sorry.
Thanks. It's just Daisy didn't mean it. I'm not mad at her.
I know. She was probably
baby.
so excited to see you too.
Clearly she was very excited to see me. She headbutted me.
Oh, God.
So what's going on with you?
What's going on? Let's see. We did a little staycation in Austin over the weekend, and it was great. We had a great time. Always love to go to Austin because it's a 3-hour drive.
Fantastic food scene.
Such great food. It's a totally different scene than Dallas. So it's just really fun, and it's easy. So I like to do that.
I'll just say that even though my stomach is a mess, the food was so good in Mexico and in Cabo. And I just love the culinary scene there. It's exploding. It's already has exploded. No. Sorry, I just went there, but it really is quite a scene. And I will put on social some of the cool restaurants we went to, but my standout dish were these cheddar biscuits at Accra.
Like a Red Lobster cheddar biscuit, or
no, like a big fat square biscuit, and it was just crumbly and so good. Yeah.
Panty dropper biscuit.
I have a picture.
So funny you said that. I had a square biscuit too. Over the weekend. I feel like I mostly see round biscuits, but
yeah,
the square is making a comeback.
I think it is.
It was at this amazing restaurant called Olame, and it's Southern cooking, and it's set in this like white house and just super cool. And the biscuit was fantastic.
Next level.
Yes.
Well, I can't wait. We should try and recreate some of these biscuits. Remember when you were a kid and you called it bihi? You couldn't say biscuit, and you did a commercial for Dad, Jimmy Dean sausage biscuit. You did a little commercial, didn't you?
I did. Yes. I got to get out of school and I got to sit around the round table, and my line was, "When do we eat, Mom?"
Wait, But where does sahi bihi come in? There was like a sahi bihi sausage biscuit.
Yes, but I think we're going to have to ask Dad about that because
whenever I think of biscuits, I think of saucy bihi.
Yeah, sahi bihi.
Oh, man. All right. Well, what's up with Mom?
Oh, gosh. Okay. So no joke. Like an hour ago before we got on, she calls me and she's like, can I come over and you taste this pork tenderloin? I'm like,
it's like
a little
9
early
a.m.
for some pork tenderloin, but okay. And so she does a...
Wait, why does she want you to taste the pork tenderloin?
Yeah, because she does a...
No.
Well, I'm about to tell you. Because she does a weekly dinner for, I think it's like a Bible study or something. And she was going to serve that tonight. But I guess she had made it prior and she put it in the freezer. So she comes over and she's like, does this taste bad? Does it taste like it's been in the freezer? And I'm like, I try it. I'm like, it's not good, Mom. I don't know what it is. It is a spice or what? She said, of course I had Dwight try it and he said it was fine.
Well, that man, he'll eat leftovers for a month.
Right.
So.
And then Lance tried it and he's like, yeah, Mama, it's not good. So
What's she going to do about the Bible study lunch?
Well, she said that she made some chicken and she's going to go ahead and slice that up and make that yummy chimichurri sauce and put that on there.
Well, I also have a funny story from this morning.
What?
You know how Mom always says, oh, I ran into so-and-so. And I'm like, who? And you remember so-and-so? They, you know them from church. Yeah.
Oh, come on. You know, you went to Sunday school with them.
Totally. Okay. I had that exact conversation, but it digressed. She was like, I ran into so-and-so this weekend. And I said, oh, I don't remember those people. And she's like, you come on, you do. They taught Sunday school. He was the Sunday school teacher. And I was like, I really don't. And she was like, come on, you knew his son, that y'all were friends and youth group. And I was like, and I go, no, I don't remember. And she goes, well, she was a psychologist we sent you to when we found beer in the back of your trunk after some concert. And you said it wasn't yours. So we sent you to her. You don't remember? And I was like, I still don't remember.
A lot of good that did.
I definitely remember like getting sent to a lot of different psychologists, but I don't remember that particular one or being sent because they found beer in the back of the trunk. It all kind of makes sense, but
why would they send you to a psychologist for finding beer? Why wouldn't they just ground you?
Mom said she's a psychologist that said, well, if their friends are doing it, then they're doing it. And doesn't that make sense? That's for sure. We were stupid, because they thought they believed me at first that I said it was not my beer. It was somebody else's. And then I think I don't know if they consulted with this person or sent me there. I don't remember. But the woman said, if their friends are doing it, they're doing it. I think that's pretty good advice, actually. But and it was true.
It really is.
Definitely. I did partake in that beer for sure.
Oh, God, that is hilarious. But yes, Mom does that all the time. And I'm like, whatever. Anyway, go on with your story.
I think a lot of moms do that.
Yes, they do. Another funny story. When we were in Austin, I called Mom just to check in and I'm like, how are you? And she'd cooked a big luncheon on Thursday last week. And she said, well, I didn't even get out of my bed on Friday.
Oh, she took to her bed.
Were you so exhausted from Thursday? She's like, no, this fungus count is out of control.
The fungus has put her in bed?
Yes. She said, you better tell Lance before he gets back, he needs to start taking his allergy medicine immediately. So there's a local weatherman here, Petey Delkus, who she loves to hate. And she said, I was watching Petey last night and he said that the fungus count is so high. And I said, well, no wonder I feel so bad. If it's not the mountain cedar, which she also talks about all the time.
I was going to say, how was the mountain cedar in Austin? Because you can get a flare up down there.
I know. The best part of Heather McMahon's Absolutely Not podcast as of late was when she was in Austin for her show.
She was taken out by it. Yeah, she was taken out by the cedar. I mean, the allergies are no joke in Texas. Yes. That is for sure. But it is a little extreme to take to your bed over the fungus count, I would say. But no judgment, I want to get back in bed with my broken nose and my bad tummy.
Oh,
I might
need to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really get allergies, thankfully. So she's always like, are Lance's eyes just watering like a drain? And And I'm like, I don't know. I'll ask him. God, this mountain cider is so hot. It's so funny. I look
love that she
forward to
watches
it.
Petey Delkus to get all of her. Maybe if she stopped watching Petey Delkus, maybe it's psychosomatic. Her allergies wouldn't be so bad. She doesn't need to watch him and hate on him. She needs to stop watching it and just deal. Oh, Mama, you're so cute.
I love it so much. I love when she calls me with her allergy updates.
She's
and then tells me to, pass it on to my husband or ask what symptoms my husband's having.
Well, that's very thoughtful. It's very thoughtful.
It is.
You got to get ahead of that. You got to get ahead of those allergies.
I think mamas all around call their kids and give the advice. And we certainly have on some guests today that happens.
We had a great mom we're talking about today, Momma Janice.
Yes, Janice DiRomualdo. And we had on her 2 daughters, Vickie and Claudia. Claudia is my bestie from LA. And I think that they're probably the most similar to us in terms of age difference of 6 years. They both love to cook and entertain, and they like to drink, and they like to have fun. And
we have a lot in common.
We really do. And I just love those girls.
Personally, I found this interview really enlightening, especially the tips that we received about talking to your kids about sex, sexual positions. Vickie, our guest, has 2 daughters that are in college now, but she recounts some of those awkward moments when your kids ask those tough questions. And I am going through that exact thing right now. And the other day I had a group of girls in the car, my daughters and their friends, and I hear from the back seat, "What's a wet dream?" Thank you, Harry Styles, because it's in his song.
My God.
One little girl's like, "I know. It's when a boy gets his period while he's sleeping." I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I nearly ran my car off the road. And I was like, no. And then I was like, these are not all my children. So I don't want to go into detail and then have them be like, "Mrs. Hare was talking about wet dreams in the car." It's just so dicey. Like, I want to be open about these things.
And
I want to be honest, but then I don't want it to sound creepy on the other end when they're, oh my God. So I love this interview because she dealt with those same issues, and it's really funny to hear how she handled them.
Oh, it really is. It's so funny. I also just love Momma Janice so much. Her cure to any illness is a glass of wine and a bowl of pasta. I subscribe to that too.
Yeah, I don't know. Being in the position I am today, I'm not sure I do, but it is.
Don't knock it till you try it.
That's true.
All right, well, let's get into it. Let's have some fun.
I love these girls. All right, enjoy.
This is a very special episode of Hey Sis, Eat This, because my LA bestie and her sister are joining us. Court, let's welcome the DiRomualdo sisters.
Welcome.
Claudia and Vickie.
Hi, Claude.
Hi.
This is so exciting to have you guys today because we share a lot in common. It's interesting. We're both sets of siblings here are 6 years apart. So Vickie and I are the older sister. And I think that made for an interesting childhood because we were so much older than these girls. And I don't know about you, but Whitney and I really didn't form a special bond, I don't think, until we were older in college, really. When Whitney was in college, I was in my early 20s, and that's when we really bonded and were able to be best friends, and the rest is history. But growing up, she was just my annoying little sister that I just wanted out of my hair. What about you?
For sure. We were, with that age difference, it's almost impossible to be close, when you're that young, one's 9, one's 16. It's just a very different experience. So you don't kind of have the connection points until you're both technically adults.
Totally. My mom, I had to be her carpool driver basically once I turned 16. I was running her here and there, and I was so annoyed.
When I was in high school, my parents had a rampant social life. We had just moved to Toledo, Ohio, and they joined this club, and they had all these friends, and they wanted to go out one night a weekend. And so I had to babysit one night a week.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the deal. I didn't get paid. It was just, we get one night, you get one night through high school. And Claudia will tell you that I was a very good babysitter.
She was the meanest babysitter of all time. She would basically lock me upstairs in my parents' room and throw little Debbie snacks at me to shut me up. The beginning of my weight problem was back then with oatmeal cream pies. They had a little balcony off their room. The doors were open and she'd like hurl snacks in through it to me in the bed.
Was she making out with guys downstairs?
She did have friends over.
I'd have friends over to watch inappropriate movies. Claudia would say Vickie, and I would say go back to your room, and I would frisbee up a little Debbie oatmeal cream pie to her to make her.
Oh my God, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Be quiet. Here's another oatmeal cream pie. Here's some ho-hos.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Can you eat a
amazing.
little Debbie cream pie today?
Oh my God, it's my favorite food.
Well, I've never met two siblings who love to cook as much as we do. We really share this common bond, and we've even been able to cook a lot of meals together, whether it's me and Claudia or Courtney and Claudia. And I've had the pleasure of cooking with you, Vickie, in Naples. We all love to cook. It's something that is ingrained in us.
It was pretty awesome the other night. Claudia was at my house. We had a girls' party gathering, and I was cooking this ribeye with this really yummy pickled onions and this really fun citrusy marinade, and it was amazing. But I looked around the room of like 15 women, and I don't know any of them cook. So I'm like, Claudia, what is this meat done? Help me. And she's like, okay. And like Claudia swooped in, and we figured it out together, and it was delicious. But it was nice to have the backup.
It was such a good meal. It was so fun.
It was so fun. I was not in a good place the next day, you know.
I'm glad I called it a night when I did. Yeah, I took a page from your book and left by 9.
Well done.
So let's have some appetizers.
I've had the pleasure of getting to know Momma Janice over the years of friendship with Claudia. She was at my wedding, and last year I got to spend Thanksgiving in Naples, Florida with the whole family, which was epic. And we had the best time.
I'm jealous because I've never met Momma Janice before. So I can't wait to hear all about her and hear all the fun stories. So I'm excited.
It would be a love fest, Court. But tell us a little bit about Momma Janice.
So Momma Janice is a whole lot of fun. We have a riot with her, and I think we have so many funny stories because she is fun. We have an adult relationship with her where we like choose to travel and take girls trips and brunches. And, you know, it's funny to see as people age, a lot of like her friends are, oh yeah, I don't know that I want to do this at my age. And her mom is like, no, I want to do it. I'm going. We're going. She wants to do everything. Let's plan a trip. And she is slowing down, not at all. She's feisty and fun and super supportive. Claudia and I were talking about this the other day. When we were younger, our parents have done well in their lives, but we didn't have a lot in the beginning. And when I was 6, my mom wanted to send me to day camp, and they could not afford it. And she was heavily pregnant with Claudia, who was born in November of that year. And the only way they could afford it was for her to be a camp counselor. And then I would be able to go for free. So it was the hottest summer in Philly. And there's my mom, pregnant as all get out, camp counseling so that I could go to day camp.
Oh my God. I mean, I would definitely draw the line at being a camp counselor anywhere.
Yeah.
So she just went up a notch in my book. Oh my God, what a saint. That's pregnant.
But and she, of course, she'll tell the story too, is that it was so hot and all they had was Kool-Aid, like, for kids. And she said that's what she, for like 2 months was just drinking the Kool-Aid, literally.
God.
All of her baby weight gain with me was literally from Kool-Aid. Like, she hardly gained anything with my sister. And then she was like, with you, I was so thirsty and there was nothing else to drink. And so it was just straight sugar.
Claudia, what are your thoughts on Janice?
I would say my mom is very social, the most social of any mom I know, very into clothes, very into makeup. And while she claimed to love food like the rest of the family, she would say herself, I love food, but I love fashion more. And in her terms, that means you should eat next to nothing so you can fit into whatever clothes you want.
You know, I think a lot of people who meet her now, she is a fashionista. She is all into that. But the true heart of her, she would do anything for her daughters. And anybody would say that about her.
to echo what Vickie said, that we've always had this great relationship with her, that even now, if anything happens to me in life, I call her before anyone, before any friend,
Right.
before therapist, before anyone. She's like the person I seek advice from, whether it's, do I wear this dress to the wedding, to, I'm so sad about this, do I want to leave LA, more serious things. And I just, we've pretty much talked every day my whole life. And I think that we realize now how lucky we are to have that, and how rare that is, as you get to know more people in adulthood and see the relationships they have with their mom. I think I just thought all moms were like that, and not how unique and special she was to have sort of, I was a rough teenager and
That is true.
always stood by me. I was, I was not easy in high school, and she still was there, like, never letting go. And at every sports match.
I even remember calling her at 2:30 in the morning from college. I'd had like a bad date or something, and she answered, and she talked to me for 2 hours. I was like, oh, I'm just sad about this. And she would still do that to this day. And I think that we are lucky. And I think you girls see the same with your mom. Not everybody is close to their mom as an adult. It's just different.
Right. And it takes a special kind of mama to be that for your daughters, just like you are, Vickie, and just like you are, Courtney. And the relationship that we have with our mom now, while it's different, we were always close with her, but it is kind of like you're on the same playing field, and, you're able to cook and talk about life stuff that you might not have talked about when you were younger. And it's just so special. And I am so thankful for it.
Well, it's a choice. And I think there was a quote where, as a mom, if you've done your job well, your children will not need you. And as heartbreaking as that is, it is true. They won't need you, but they will want you. And that's, I think, what we have. I've tried very hard with my girls, is I don't want to be a crutch for you. But I want you to want to talk to me, not need to talk to me. And I think we have that with my mom. And I think that was just very good role model for me, having daughters myself, of raising them in the same way. So I hope I did a good job as she does. And she said, I think you're doing better than me, which is sweet, but
the biggest compliment.
So being just the two of you, it's just the two of you growing up, right? There's no other siblings. So what was it like around your dinner table?
Well, I will say, and I'm sure, Whitney, you felt the same way. Like at some point when you have this big of an age difference, she felt like an only child for a while. Then we had the time together. And then I felt like I grew up an only child. But when we were all together, and even after, we had family dinners every night, like unless there was some sort of athletics, we all got together at the table every night for dinner. So that was like a tradition that sort of never failed. No TV on, and some sort of homemade meal. I mean, it was never ordering out or pizza or anything like that.
I love that.
My recollection was not so much always at the table. I remember my dad worked so much that a lot of times he was after the fact. Maybe he had more like presence once I left for college, because, life changed a little bit, but I don't remember that as much. I know where possible it was like that. But let's say our mom always cooked family style, and she would make
giant portions,
like 2 pounds of pasta for 4 of us. And we would finish it. We'd put it in the middle of the table, and we'd all eat. And then we'd all talk with our forks in the communal pot. So which, later in life, she then decided, when she had to kind of put us all on some kind of health kick that we didn't want, family style went away.
She decided to start trying to make her recipes we loved healthy. Like she made this version of like a chicken pot pie where she'd put like biscuits on top and bake it.
It started off, she'd make a roux with the milk and the whole kind of sauce. And then she'd have broccoli and cauliflower and chicken. And then she'd put the biscuit on, and we all loved it. And then she decided one day it was going to be healthier, and she used veggie broth.
Chicken broth.
But without the roux. And so it looked like dishwater. And these Biscuits were like bobbing up and down in there.
Like floating in the dirty water.
Dirty water.
That's amazing. But the fact that she was doing a roux and doing all of that, I mean, she's a cook. Like she, you know.
Oh yeah, no, she's a good cook. She can cook.
And she would be upset if she thought we didn't recall all. She said, all these years I've cooked and you don't have the recollection of all the meals I made.
What was your favorite dish that Jan made?
You know, she made these enchiladas, which were really good that I remember a lot of. And really the pre-chicken broth biscuit chicken pie.
And her meatballs.
Yeah, meatballs were great.
Although they were freakishly huge, like tennis ball size. And I remember my high school best friend would come over and like, did your mom have any leftover meatballs? And they were like massive.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've had some snacks, let's go to the main course. We've all been through this dreaded sex talk. Well, I wouldn't say we all have been through the dreaded sex talk because my mom did not really talk to me about sex. She left it up to the school, but I'd like to hear how Janice addressed the sex talk with you ladies.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah,
Claudia?
because she did not address it with me. So
No, because I had to. Okay. So I was probably 8 and I had got into reading Judy Blume. And I don't remember what my first couple books were, but my mom's like, oh, this is wonderful. She loves reading these books. So she got me like obviously went to the store and said, give me everything by Judy Blume. Plowed through them and I'm reading the book Forever, and which is about a first sexual experience. And obviously my mom did not know that when she purchased this. And she had friends over. And I said, because I'm confused by this entire book, by the way. I'm like reading it, I'm rereading pages.
Yeah, you're 8, for God's sakes.
There's one part where it's like, I'm so sorry I came. And I'm like, wait, where did he go? Let me go back 2 pages. I obviously missed something. Like it's to this level of detail. And so I said to my mom, hey, Mom, what's a virgin? And she's like, what? And I said, what's a virgin? And she looks, give me that book. And she takes it away and her friends are there and I'm super confused. So the next morning I come downstairs and the way our house was, we had this big, hideous olive green entertainment cabinet and she had put it at the top, which I could see as I go down the steps. So obviously I took this book and read it as quickly as I could in my brain, understanding almost none of it. And then she said she felt the need to sit down and explain it to me. And that was that, like 8 or 9 years old. It was
But
early.
what did she say to you when she explained it? Like she was like, here's the penis and the vagina. Like, did she go into detail?
It was very mechanical. This is what sex is. The man puts the penis in the woman's vagina and makes a baby, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And all the, I mean, it was very factual. And I'm like, okay. Like it wasn't horrifying to me, but it was confused. Like it was, I was probably a little young for it. Like I was like,
Right.
oh, okay. It's weird. Okay. Yeah. But Claudia was having none of it.
So I refused to let her speak to me about sex. And she kept saying she would want to talk about it. But then she would use phrases like heavy petting. And I'm like, I'm out. Like, I don't want to hear you ever say those words again. It still makes me cringe. And it's like, you know, when you love a man, I'm like, oh my God, I refused to let her talk to me about it. So she decided that Vickie should be the one to give me that talk.
And at what age?
So I was 17 and she's like, I need you to talk to Claudia. And I'm like, what? No, I can't do that. And she's like, she won't listen to me. You have to do this. And I said, there's a reason I don't have my own children right now because I'm no way ready to give anyone the sex talk.
Right.
I tried to talk to Claudia and she ran out of the room with her hands over her ears going, screaming.
I was a late bloomer. This was probably age 10. I did not want to hear it from anybody.
I hear ya.
I did not want to tell you either.
Yeah.
Well, I have an 11-year-old and so apropos, they started their human development talk this week. So every day this week for an hour, they're going to be talking about human development. Over the weekend, we showed them Top Gun for the first time. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to fast forward through that take my breath away scene, you know, with the licking and everything. So I fast forward it and she's like, Mommy, what, why are you fast forwarding? What are they doing? What are they doing? I'm like, don't worry about it. They're kissing. She's like, well, if they're kissing, why can't I see it? I've seen that. And I said, And I was like, just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So I thought we were done with that. And then the next day she's like, Mommy, why did you fast forward through that scene in Top Gun? What were they actually doing? And I thought, God, I swore to myself I wouldn't lie to my kids. I was like, I really don't want to have this conversation. She goes, Mommy, please. And I said, okay, they get naked together and they kiss. And she's like, oh, God. And I go, I know. I told you didn't want to know. And so I thought to myself, well, hopefully they'll explain that in human development this week because the questions are starting. It's all about time. So,
I mean, her girls asked us what a 69 was. And then
Yes.
when they were
back up. Who asked you?
Isabel.
Charlotte, or no, I think Charlotte said, what's a 69?
No. It was Izzy. It was Izzy on an airplane, and we were flying to Florida. And
No, this was when we were in Florida. Because I was there when you said, I know what it means. And you said, what does it mean? How do you know what it means? And she said, Anna told me. And you said, what does it mean? She said, it means you're pregnant. And you were like, well, nope, that's not what it means.
Well, then it must have been another time where she yelled at me while everyone's like, we just boarded. So it was that quiet moment before the takeoff. Mom, why does everybody laugh at the number 69? And I was like, oh my God. And
that's amazing.
Funny, like you, I was like, I'm not going to lie, and she might've been 11 or 12. I was like, I'm going to be factual.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God. And I said, I'll explain it to you when we land. Now it's not the time. And I'm thinking, hopefully she's going to forget this. And even when we got off the plane, the guy behind me is like, he's like, have fun tonight. And here's the funniest part of it is we're in Florida now and we're all there and I'm putting the kids to bed. And they said, remember, you're going to tell us what 69 was. So now my bedtime story was explaining 69.
And she's like, will you tell them? I'm like, absolutely not. No.
I come out and I have like hives. Like it was, and unfortunately we still remember I did like the hand motion. I'm like, if you think of the two numbers like this, I did the like elbow to elbow. And I know it's awful. Even they're like, remember when Mom explained it like this? So we come out and my mom's there and my mother-in-law, Sandy, we love equally. And they're like, what happened? I said, well, I had to explain 69 to my children. And my mom's like, which was awful, right? She was like very young, like, oh, I'm like, ew. And then my mother-in-law was like, wait, what is it? I'm like, oh my God.
Sweet Sandy.
I'm not explaining it to my mother-in-law.
What's worse?
And I also am like a little bit creeped out that my mom gave like a very knowing nod.
Oh yeah, 69.
It was uncomfortable all around. And then her sister-in-law, Cindy, leaned over and whispered into Sandy's ear to tell her what it was. And I'm like, I don't even want to know what you said or I want any part of that.
That's like the best story I've heard in a long time. Oh God, I don't want them to ask me about 69. Please tell me that's not. Oh,
it will happen.
Just say, ask your father.
Say, ask Vickie.
Yes, I got this now. You could ask me anything. I have an answer probably for every question.
I'm like, call Aunt Vickie. She'll tell you.
I'm going to set up a Zoom for you and Aunt Vickie.
Yeah.
She's got hand gestures to go along with it.
I do. I got it.
Oh man.
That's amazing.
All moms are different when it comes to taking care of you. When you're sick, when you're injured, some are better than others. What was Jan like?
I will say that whatever she was like, Vickie is now like that with her own children, but there was no sympathy when you were sick in our house. It was no matter how sick you were, it was like, well, you're going to school. Have some tea and toast.
Tea and toast, you're good to go.
Yeah, you're getting to school. Like, I mean, there'd be times like my throat was almost closing and she'd be like, just take some Tylenol. You're going to school always.
This happened. I don't remember. It was in elementary school. And I'm like, I remember, I don't feel well. Have some orange juice. You'll feel better. I'm like, I don't really actually want that. Have some tea and toast. You'll feel better. And I got to school and it happened to be that night we had a like a recital or a concert, and I was on the risers, and my mom remembers seeing me, and I was like neon red. My fever, I probably had 104 fever. And she's like, oh my God, I had scarlet fever. For
Oh my
yes.
God.
I was out of school for 2 weeks.
Did Jan feel bad?
I mean, probably not. Because she continued to be like that through our entire upbringing, even into my adult years, where Whitney, I think I told you this, where I was in London, and Charlotte was maybe 1, and my parents were visiting, and I remember we went to Starbucks, and my mom and I split a panini at lunch. And I just felt like not well in the afternoon. I'm thinking like, maybe it's the panini. She's like, oh, it's definitely the panini. And I'm like, all right. And we were supposed to go out to an Italian restaurant that night. I said, I'm just not feeling well. I don't know if I'm going to go out. She's like, all you need is a glass of wine and a bowl of pasta. Like, is that all I need? Because I'm not thinking like I want anything right now. So we're driving to the restaurant and through London, and it's, 5:30, people everywhere. And I have to roll down the window. I puke all outside of the car. I clearly not okay. And I hear this child going, ew, look, mommy, mommy, look at that woman vomiting. Mommy. Yes, she's retching in the road. And so I threw up, and I'm like, I'm sweating now. And my mom's like, it's great that you got that out. Now all you need is a glass of wine and a bowl of pasta. I'm like, I don't know. I said, maybe I should go home. No, obviously, whatever was bothering you, it's out now. Come on. We sit down. I pour the glass of wine and the pasta. I'm like, no, I'm out. So I have to go home after she gives me a hard time about it. Well, what do you know? The next day, she's throwing up.
Of course.
Yeah.
God.
A glass of wine and a bowl of pasta.
Yep. That's all you need. If you don't feel well, that's what you need, according to Jan.
That brings up a memory for me when my mom was dropping me off. It was like before my senior year in college, and like a group of moms and my sorority sisters all got together for dinner in Santa Monica right before school started, and we were all drinking and like raging. It was like as if the moms were back in college and they couldn't control themselves and they were drinking uncontrollably. And we all go back to not we all go back. My mom and I go back to our hotel. And mom like spends the whole night retching.
No.
Like, vomiting. Yeah. And I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, it's just the bad lamb. The bad lamb. And I'm like, it wasn't the bad lamb. It was like the 7 Cosmos that you had. But it was as if she had reverted to her college days. I don't know why. Your story made me think of, retching.
Wait, so our mom, I was babysitting in high school, and like I said, my parents had this rampant social life. I was babysitting one of their friends' sons, and they all went out to play tennis and out to eat afterwards. And my mom is a lightweight. She weighs 3 ounces. You give her a glass and a half of wine, and she will not remember.
New Year's Eve, yeah.
So the people come back who I'm babysitting for, and they're like, oh, you might want to go home. I think your mom is feeling great. And I come home, and my dad's like, your mom is wasted. He might not have used that word, but your mom is drunk. And I go upstairs, and my mom is hugging the toilet, and she had a Long Island iced tea.
2 Long Island iced teas.
Oh, 2, 1.5.
Well, that'll do it.
She's literally throwing elements of her salad at other people, like adults. And they have to like take her out. And my mom's kind of like jumping out the sunroof of my dad's car, waving at everyone. And she's bring up, and she's like, I'm never drinking again. And I thought it was funny because I was like 16 or 17 at the time. So that was the funniest thing ever to see your mom drunk.
Right.
It wasn't scary. So we get my dad and I get her in the bed, and we walk out the door, and she falls straight off the bed. And yes, that is, but we see our mom is the happiest drunk there is. She is a happy drunk. She is just
very loving,
jolly and happy.
When that happened, I think I was only like 8 or 9, and I thought she was dying. I was so scared. I was like, what's wrong with mom? Like, I didn't get like the excitement of it. And then years later, we did a family trip with the girls to Montana, and where everyone's like, has dinner and then retires to their little houses by 8 p.m. We, of course, made friends with the bartender, and we're decided to do a brandy tasting later, where my mom got so hammered. And at one point, Isabel, at age maybe 7, right, comes out of the bathroom. Aunt Claudia, Nani's puking in the bathroom when I go, and she's laying on the toilet throwing up. It was a place you drove golf carts around, and they had to like call for a ride for us because no one could drive.
The funniest part was Claudia says to me, this is before the puking, she's like, I think mom's drunk. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then we look over and okay, we've told you my mom does, is about weight control and she is housing s'mores. Like she is shoveling down the s'mores. And the funniest part of all of it is the next day, I just know for me, if you had told me I'd embarrass myself, I'd be like, oh my God, the shame. And we're telling her, oh, and you were throwing up and this, that, the other. And Claudia's like, yeah, we knew something was up when you were eating those s'mores. She's like, wait, what? I ate s'mores? She didn't care about anything else. The fact that we had to be hauled out of there with the s'mores, that was the worst thing that could have happened to her.
That's amazing.
And then Charlotte says to her, Nani, if I were you, I would take a shower. And she said, why is that? She said, well, I mean, you had your head on a public toilet.
These kids, they keep you straight. They really do. They keep you honest. I'm telling you.
Right. And Nani says, what did we learn about this, girls? And Isabel said at 7, she's like, never drink brandy.
Yeah. That's actually that's not the myth.
Well, there was a really funny incident we had when we all went to Uchi Sushi here in Dallas when they were visiting. Key's daughters both go to SMU. So Jan came in town and so did Claudia and Vickie when the girls were rushing and we went to Uchi. They serve this amazing dish that's the Wagyu beef hot rock. So you take the pieces of beef and you put it on the hot rock and you cook it in, a few seconds. So my husband, Lance, is sitting next to Vickie and he leans over and goes, don't look now and don't say anything to your mother, but she just ate the piece of beef raw.
Just like downed it with the, yeah. And she's like, that's sort of chewy. Yeah.
She totally did.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Did she like it, raw? She likes the.
She did touch I thought it was sort of chewy once we told her. I mean, did you not hear the waiter say, cook it about 20 seconds?
I think for her, we had like rounds of sashimi and she also had a glass and a half of wine. So, then she's wasted. So I think it was, here's more sashimi. It's just like a tartare.
That's what I was about to say. She thought it was tartare.
Right.
But I wish I was that much of a lightweight. I wish like 1.5 glasses would do me in.
Oh, same. Now it's dessert time. We want to close out the show with some rapid fire questions for you sisters.
We've learned a lot about Janice, but just give us one word to describe your mom.
Judgmental.
Did you say judgmental?
I did, but I really meant fashionable or loving.
Social.
Very social.
And who is her favorite?
Vickie.
I think it probably depends on what phase we're each going through. I'm sure there's times where it's not me and there's other times it is me, just depending. And I know this now having 2 girls, you love them equally.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Having had spend time with your mom, I know that that's true.
I'm going to say it's usually not me, but that's fine. Years of therapy have helped me embrace that fact. And I'm good with it.
You having saying that, Claudia, answers my next question. Who makes your mom laugh the most?
I think we both do, but I would say we make our dad laugh more than he just thinks.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy.
We are the funniest people ever.
You are.
I agree.
Dad, I feel like he always, no matter what is going on, even if it's like a bad situation in my life, he finds the humor in it and just laughs hysterically. And sometimes you need that.
Yes.
So
that's a very evolved person to be able to do that. So that's awesome.
All right. And the last one, what is the best advice you've gotten from Janice?
Oh, a lot of good stuff. It's a hard one.
It can be a few things.
Yeah.
Well, she was always good at, when things are, this is so her, but there's truth in this. When you're having the worst time, you're in a bad way. She's like, get up. Of course she'd say this, do your hair, put an outfit on you like, at least you just feel good about yourself during the day. Even if you can't control the other stuff, put on your favorite clothes, do your hair, do your makeup, and at least you have that.
I love that. I actually subscribe to that too. It's so true. Nothing like a shower and a good putting your face on to really make yourself feel better.
Well, sometimes it's the only thing within your control.
It's true.
True.
she's always been like very solution oriented. So I would say sometimes I just want someone to feel sorry for me when I'm sad. And she's like, well, you're going to get up. You're going to figure out what is going to make you feel better today. And it's like, this is what you're going to do, instead of she doesn't really support wallowing.
So you know what? This is funny. Charlotte said the same to me because I'm mom now. If you're upset, I will give you 3 steps to fixing it. We will make a plan. And I remember Charlotte on more than one occasion has said to me, I know you think you're being helpful, but sometimes I just need a hug and need to know it's going to be okay. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm so not wired that way. I want steps to fix it if I'm upset.
Same.
I guess some people just need a moment for empathy.
Right. If I'm going through a hard time, sometimes I just want you to feel sorry for me and say, I'm sorry you're going through this, and not like, well, get up, exercise, then you're going to do that. I'm like, Mom, that's the last thing I want to do.
Jan was actually very integral in me marrying my husband because
She was?
Yeah.
Yes, because Claudia and I were on a walk and I was like, oh, Lance doesn't want to get married. I don't know what to do. I always thought I was going to get married. And I just think I got to break up with him. Like, I can't be with him. And Claudia's like, listen, this is what my mom always says. You're just going to put a time on it. You're going to put a date on it. And when that date arrives, then you can make a decision, but you're not going to throw away this guy right now because you really like him and you're having so much fun with him. So, put the date, like, let's say September 15th. This was like in May. And I was like, okay, September 15th. And like, other than that, we're cool for the summer. And that was when the Demi Lovato song, exactly. When the Demi Lovato song came out. So Jan was one of the reasons why Lance and I made it that long. So I have her to thank.
I mean, it's good advice. She would, when she was telling me when I wanted to break up with someone and I was just stressing over it every single day. And she said, you need to put a date on it. I didn't need to every night say, oh my God, I got to do that and like stress myself out. I knew I had time. Of course, I ended up breaking up with them well before that. It is good advice. So I passed it on to Whitney and look how well that worked.
Yes.
It did. Well, DiRomualdo sisters, we love you so much.
This was so special.
Thank you.
So fun. We need to do a reunion soon.
On a girls' trip. That would be just unbelievable.
I'd love it.
Let's do it.
That
Let's
would be
do
so
it.
fun.
I would love nothing more. I love seeing your faces. I wish we were all together. But until then,
I love you. I love your show.
I love you. I love your show.
Thank you so much for listening to Hey Sis, Eat This. If you LOL'd, peed your pants a little bit, or even smirked, please hit subscribe if you haven't already. And feel free to rate and review, but only if it's positive.
Also, visit our website for recipes and to sign up for our newsletter at heysiseatthis.com.